Hi, so I'm gonna be making a seahorse out of soap dough, and I'm using red soap dough, which I am forming into a log shape by just rolling around my hands. But I could have also used, and it might have been better if I had used a smooth surface to do this on. I didn't have one with me at the time. But after I was happy with the shape and size, I pressed on one spot that I chose to be the neck. So I'm doing pressure and also rolling at the same time, which is making that spot thin. That gives me the definition of where the head will be, and then I can start shaping the head by pressing the end and squeezing it to make it thinner, and this is where the mouth or the snout will be. Once I'm happy with this shape, I just bend the head towards the body so that they are together. And what will be next is creating the tail. At this point, it looks more like a bird than a seahorse, and that's okay. Soon it's gonna start looking more like a seahorse. So what I'm doing is rolling the end, trying to make the end of the tail as thin as possible. And I have to be careful because I don't want to make the neck weaker or the head weaker by just being too abrupt in the rolling. And so I do the thinning out with my fingers just by pinching it. And once I'm happy, I start rolling. And on this one, I'm rolling the tail towards the back. Sometimes I roll it towards the front. It doesn't matter, whichever one you prefer. And next, what I start doing is that I start pinching the back of the head and the back of the seahorse to create what will be the fins. And this is not exactly an true faithful representation of what seahorse look like in real life. This is more of the way that I was shown to do them when I was doing a polymer clay class once, and that's how the girl did them, and I thought it was an easy way. As you can see, I don't have tools with me, but anything can work, and in this case I'm using a fork to create the eyes and also to create the mouth. Sometimes I leave the eyes just like that, just a perforation, and that's enough. But in this case, I wanted to fill them and make them blue. So I took a tiny piece of blue soap dough to use it as the eye. Now, if I didn't have, if I had short nails, I probably couldn't do this without a tool. But because I do, I just use my nails to scrape a tiny piece out of it and then insert it into the hole that I made with a fork, so that would be his eye. And it ended up being too big, so I had to remove some, with my nail again. Back when I made this with polymer clay, I will use a seed bead as the eye. But being that this is going to be soap and it's going to be used in the shower, it wouldn't be a good idea to have any kind of beads in this. And so I'm doing my best to make it with just soap dough. Then I decided to add some embellishments to the fins with blue. And initially this looked like a good contrasting color to the red. It seemed a bit sporty though. And then later I remember that my background, when I put the seahorses on the soap, is going to be blue. And so this may just blend too much with the background of the soap. So I remember that I had some black soap dough, and I decided to use that instead. And instead of removing the blue to replace it with the black, I just added it on top of it because it's going to make those fins stronger by being thick, and so they won't break easily. So at first I had just turned the covers into like a round shape. Then I decided to go more for a triangular shape. And in reality, you can just do any shapes you want if you're not trying to be accurate. If you're just trying to make a whimsical kind of a seahorse, you could take liberties and have fun with it. Then I'm going to create the fin for the back out of just one piece, and sometimes I do individual spikes and sometimes I do individual little balls. In this case I decided to just create a flat one and use the fork for texture. So I'm also pressing it against the body so it stays stuck, and I am trying to turn the head towards the front because that way I can see a little bit of the head when I'm shaping it. And I did decided to reshape the front, the top, so it wouldn't look like horns, and just give it a more rounded look. So this is what they look like in the soap, and feel free to subscribe if you want to receive notifications of when I post my next video. Thank you.